Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of From Sad Pick Me Girl to Alchemist. Today, I'm so excited to have Chandni here. She is an intuitive entrepreneur, and I will let her touch a little bit more on what she does in a second. I wanted to make sure that I also explained why I decided to have her on the podcast and how we connected. And both of us are working on soul-led businesses. We have stepped into our power and used some of the traumas that we've experienced and past difficulties to help others. And stepping into our purpose has changed our life. I will let her speak for her own experience, but it has really helped me to live a life that I am proud of and let go of the patterns that I thought I was never going to be able to let go of to live a fulfilling life. And I know that Chandni will resonate with that as well. And I will let you take the wheel on explaining what exactly it is that you do and what led you to do it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dennis, for having me today. Actually, it's a lot that I have to talk, and I can talk a lot as well. But if someone asks me that what you do, it's actually a lot of things that I mix together. But today I'll be a little more specific. I am an intuitive entrepreneur and a business mentor. So basically, I help coaches and business owners to overcome their limiting beliefs, blocks, um, underconfidence, whatever trauma they have been through. So I'm also a certified trauma informed coach. And so understanding how trauma builds a kind of, understanding, because over the years we have been through so much that um, it tends to change how we think. If I hope I'm able to make it clear.
Yeah.
And that really impacts us in a way sometimes we don't understand, or sometimes we really miss out. It's when someone actually tells us, okay, and then it's like a bulb moment, right? Oh,
Right.
she's right. We
Yeah.
never thought about it like this. And we never thought that this could impact us in such a manner that it can completely alter our thought processes of our day to day, even mundane things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I help coaches who have been through trauma, conditioning, intergenerational blockages, and help them understand how um, business works, and help them understand how they can actually enhance their business in terms of not only overcoming their own blocks, but also in terms of how you can put yourself out. Because a lot of these people who have been through so much, they have issues with visibility. They
Yeah.
cannot speak publicly, they cannot speak online. When they come on a stage, they freeze a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of survival mechanisms that I teach for their day to day aspects, including business. So it's not only business, but also a lot of um, day to day life processes that we go through, which someone might miss out because they have been through so much over the years. And
Right.
yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah.
the subconscious blocks are really big. And I don't think that, I think people are becoming more aware now of how it impacts your life, not just your business, but your personal life, and it trickles into every aspect. But I want to also go back a bit and ask what led you to want to do this work?
That's a great question. So it all started in my childhood. I lost my father very early, and it was something which I realized as I was growing. So basically, of course, when you're so small, you don't have that kind of thought process, oh, okay, oh, I don't have my father. No, you come across these things when someone tells you. So there was this continuous, Like people have this tendency to project their opinions. Okay, you don't have a father. Oh, she doesn't have a father. Whoever used to come and visit us. Oh, she lost her father very early. So it was this continuous, repetitive, you know, uh, opinion or projection that slowly and gradually led me to understand that, oh, okay, I don't have a father. And it's a very important aspect. And of course, it's a very important aspect of our lives. But the repetitive projection actually made me understand that people leave.
Yeah.
They leave. And somewhere down the line, I realized that um, he just left me. And my um, childhood, or rather, I would say, a child's brain is so sensitive to all these aspects that you somehow are unable to process it. Even as an adult, we are unable to process so many different types of emotions. But as a child, what we go through builds a lot of things, like when we move through teenage and puberty and adulthood and a lot. So when I was going through these continuous opinions, it was like, continuous in my mind. Okay, someone's not there in my life who has to be there, right? And then came the judgments, not because I did not have a father, but um because of different issues. Okay, you are a girl, you have to, you know adapt. You're a girl, you are dependent, you're going to be dependent on someone. You are
Yeah.
not the primary
Mm-hmm.
person in the family. You're going to be a secondary one because you are going to marry someone who is going to look after you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a certain image, you have to have a certain reputation, you have to have a certain way that you carry. Okay, you're a girl, you have to get married, you have to
Right.
find someone, um, you have to look good, right? Comments on my skin tone. So a lot of this slowly and gradually impacted me in ways that I could not process.
Mm-hmm.
And it all came down to issues like, people pleasing. Why? Because I don't know what to lose anyone anymore.
Yeah.
And I could do anything to keep people in my life. I was sabotaging myself to keep people in my life. I did not want to lose anyone now. It came to that stage I think by my teenage, I was at that stage that I could not lose anyone. I could not afford to lose anyone. And then came some financial uh, issues in the family. There came issues of different types of, you know, judgments regarding a lot of things. And that led to issues like, I started becoming even more underconfident because I was not a good student as well. So I was not very good at studies as well. And
You weren't.
yeah. So this brought in a lot of comparison. Oh, you could not score this much. See your so and so did this. See someone achieved this. See someone topped the class. You could not do that, right? And that somehow, because of that continuous, again, the same continuous repetition of opinions and projections, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brought me to a level of underconfidence. I started feeling unworthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I lost my confidence completely. I was, beating myself every day that I'm not good enough. I'm not a
Yeah.
good daughter. I'm not a good granddaughter.
Yeah.
So
And
it
what,
was a mix of everything. Yeah.
yeah. And what made you decide to become conscious of that? Because I think we all have a moment where where when we've gone to the other side where we are now, where we're more in empowerment and in our, I'll say our soul's path. What do you think was your breaking point that got you to the point where enough is enough and you wanted to break the subconscious patterns?
So it was not very sudden, but by the age of 24, 25, I was in severe, you know, depression. I started having health issues, chronic issues, and I got to know that something was wrong. And I became so emotional because of all the, you know, the continuous, uh, what do you say, conditioning, the continuous um projections and everything.
Hmm.
I became so emotional, I became so sensitive that I could not hear a single thing. It just it just made it so bad that even going through mundane things like doing a household chore became a very, very difficult task for me. And that's when I realized that there's something very wrong with me. And it projected in my studies, it projected in my academics, it projected in my relationships, it projected started projecting in my friendships, in my career as well. So by the time I had to build a career, I even didn't know what I want to do because there was so much noise and chaos all around. I i was completely lost. And that's when I got to know about depression, I got to know about anxiety, and I realized that I'm going through all this. So by the age of 24, 25, I got to know that there's something very wrong. And still, I wasn't ready to accept it. They say that acceptance is the first step to healing. But
Right.
I was not ready to accept the fact that there's something wrong with me. And then I got married. I had a kid. And going through postpartum, I went on a depression. I mean, it was severe postpartum depression where I was crying at the drop of a hat. And so by 30, 32, I was realizing that I need to do something about it. But because people don't take mental health so seriously, I was really afraid. I was scared to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And slowly and gradually, I got to know about a lot of things. A few friends helped me understand that it's okay to take help, it's okay to find support. And that led me. So by 2020, uh, like I think 6 years ago, pretty recently, I got into the healing practices. And I discovered tarot. I got my certification as a grandmaster Reiki. And that's when I got to know that what are the things that are so wrong with me. And I'm so much, absorbing everything, because as then I realized that, I am already an empath.
Hmm.
I've been through so much that this is what it was, but I wasn't aware at all to understand what it was exactly. I could not name it. Now it's just that I could name it. But getting through all this, I could also understand that I am highly intuitive. I am a psychic. And slowly that helped me understand a lot of aspects of, uh, working on your shadows, going through um, a lot of things that I've never heard before. And it was so unfortunate that in India, even though we are such a developing country, we did not have uh, people talk about mental health.
Yeah.
And there was such less awareness. It's only after the internet boom and the cell phones and everything that came in, like people got to know about this, and specifically COVID, because people suffered a lot during COVID because of
Right.
lockdowns and all that. So that's when
Yeah.
all this started, and I got to know, okay, I've been through this. And believe me, Denise, till then I had no idea what I was going through.
Yeah. And it's interesting too because we've talked before, and there are so many parallels in our stories and how we've gone about things and our relationships with self that trickled into our romantic relationships. But I also think it's interesting that you started with tarot and Reiki. Were my one of my first two, we'll say, spiritual practices and divination tools, and it's an interesting journey, right? To start from not knowing. For me, I was so disconnected from spirituality. I didn't really know what it fully meant.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I know that you also mentioned that you were psychic, and I want to touch on that as well because for me, I did used to go to psychics, as I shared with you, and they would always tell me something doom and gloom. And I want to emphasize that not all of them are ethical, right? And so uh,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I want to touch on what that means for you because, of course, I know that's not the case here. And so I want to make sure that I highlight that.
So, yeah, after going through my Reiki certification, all the intuitive ability suddenly started, as expected, it suddenly started increasing a lot. And slowly and gradually, I got to know what is a psychic and I could understand things and see things. I am more of a clairaudient. I am also a clairvoyant. So I get these downloads very, very, very randomly and frequently as well. But like you said, that all are not ethical. And I have had my fair shares of, you know, bad experiences of working with psychics. Yeah. So I've been there and it's unfortunate because the healing industry is so huge and it's such an important work. I mean, um, healers are the major stars, or rather, the people who actually are here to raise the consciousness of our system, our earth, right? We are
Hmm.
here for that. And it's so, I mean, it pains me. It's very, very unfortunate for me to see that people taking advantage of others in terms of energy, in terms of using someone's energy. And it's really, really sad to see. But somewhere I do believe I have so much faith in the universe's powers that whatever it is, I'm sure we are going to get through all this. And however dark side or whatever it's going to be, but I'm really I have that kind of faith that uh, because we've been at the bottom, like literally in the abyss, and we've risen like a phoenix. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I really believe that if I can come out of this, anyone can. And I think we are here to help people because of this, because I now believe that it was all um you know just planned to make me realize that okay, you are here for this. And now that I know what my mission is, I feel even more empowered to help others and empower others. But it, like you said, it's really, really sad to see people feeding on others
Yeah.
and yeah, it's something
And
that
yeah. And one of the things that you touched on too, though, too, is that the collective consciousness, some people are not aware of what that means. And I always want to explain because, as you were saying, we are healers and we're here to spread light. And for me, it's always very important that I emphasize that doesn't mean I'm above people. But as you mentioned, it's because we've been at the bottom of what feels like the end, and you just don't want to, at least for me, I know I didn't want to be here anymore. And to rise to a point where it's when our light shines and we feel empowered, we're able to provide that to others. And so when we talk about collective consciousness, the idea is we become our own light and shine the light on others so that they too can do it. And it's just this amazing, contagious, we'll call it process. I don't know if that's the right word. And going back to how your psychic abilities are, can you explain how you use those in the work that you do with the people that you work with?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, that I get downloads a lot, and even if there's no switch, so even if I switch off, which I believe I do, but you cannot
Like,
just,
nope.
yeah, you cannot get out of that zone of being
Yeah.
a psychic. So, yeah. So, basically, like I said, whenever I talk to someone, I get those because when we are talking to someone, we really are connecting with an energy, right? I
Hmm.
really believe that everything is energy. And
Hmm.
when we are talking to people, when we are communicating with someone, even not people, say animals, I can connect to animals as well. And I've been getting downloads. I recently went to a pet cafe, and I could really have downloads for animals as well.
Wait,
So
that's
it
so
was,
cool. Please elaborate on that. That is amazing because that's not a thing that everybody can open up to. So
yeah. So
you're,
I have
yeah,
these abilities of having downloads for, like, example, there was a small kitten. And it was, really stressed out looking at so many people in public. And I could sense that energy from the kitten that it's stressed. And um, actually, I did not tell the owner because, it's a matter of, mm, I don't know. It's just like we have this unsaid agreement that you cannot just randomly go out and tell people, okay, this is what it's going to be, or this is what's going
yeah,
to be. Okay?
yeah,
That's just not what we do ethically, right? Because we
right.
cannot just, clock in someone's energy and say, okay, this is what is going to happen to you. No. So I could not go to
Is
the
it?
owner. And many people are unfortunately also not open to all these things, you know?
Oh, a
Yeah.
thousand percent.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They are not open to hearing the truth, right?
Mm,
And whenever
mm-hmm.
I've had those instances where people tell me that, oh, this could not be. What are you saying? You know?
Yeah.
And then that happens, and then they are OMG, and they're like, okay, she told me this.
She
That's
was
happened with
right.
me as well. Yeah, she was right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, with animals, I've had these experiences where I could sense that stress, or I could sense that the like, for example, if someone is picking a pet and they're like, oh, please don't pick me up, I get sense that,
Yeah.
okay, they're going away. Okay. But people don't understand that because they are, of course, not at that level of understanding. So we cannot
Yeah.
expect that from everyone. But yeah, I have had my fair shares of downloads. Sometimes I get dreams. I have visions as well, where I've seen people who I know, and then I call them in the morning, and they are like, most of them are my friends or family who all know that I'm a psychic. So they understand, if they get an early morning call, it's going to be something that she has visualized.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
it usually a message for them? Do you have
Yeah.
a, that's amazing.
And sometimes that's only a metaphor, it's
Yeah.
shown something in a certain way, which we only understand when that happens, so it's
Yeah.
really subjective.
And I'd imagine it usually resonates with them, whatever the metaphor is or whatever message, or are they sometimes like, what are you talking about?
99% they do. Sometimes
Okay.
it so happens that we are not able to crack the code. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. And it's funny to me because not, as you mentioned, not everyone is open to this. And when I so deeply believe in it, but I also don't believe that we can force people to believe in it, right? Like it's just one of those things. But my brother was talking to me yesterday and he's like, none of all of that stuff, I just don't believe it. And I really want him to speak to somebody who is credible because he talks to people, and not to say there's a lack of credibility, but sometimes I just think that you go to somebody and they tell you one thing, and then all of a sudden you never want to talk to somebody again. And I had another friend who told me the same thing. He had somebody read his palm and they told him he was going to die young. And I was like, who told you this? And it's just, now they just don't want a reading. And I so strongly believe in readings, and not because they provide answers, and maybe you can attest to this, but because it gives you guidance on the certain paths that you can take. And I don't necessarily think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, this is my theory, is I don't think that there's one specific outcome all the time. Like, this is what's going to happen because we have free will and choice. And so these things can help you decide what the path is, or, hey, if you do this, this might happen, or if you do this. But there's no way to be like, hey, you know, you're destined for
Absolutely. Yeah, of
failure
course.
or whatever catastrophic prediction they provide.
Yeah. And actually, people take it the other way around, saying that, oh, you can predict the future. You know
Mm-hmm.
everything. But it's generally not the case. Like,
Right.
it's not that we are able to predict the future, and we know already that when are we going to do this, or when are we going to when are we going to die, and all that. So people have asked me these questions, like, tell me, when am I going to die? I'm like, I don't know, I cannot say that. That is so funny. Why do you want to know you want to die?
Yeah. What good does that do you, right? It does.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think we only receive messages that are helpful for people. And nobody has visibility into everything. It's usually as much as we can provide that person we're allowed to see, right?
And yeah, I missed your point that how I help in my business. So, being a psychic, when I am talking to a client or clients in a group, I generally get downloads sometimes as a metaphor, but sometimes also when I'm talking on a one-on-one call with a client, I just get it, like this, like it just
Yeah.
rushes through. Yeah, it just rushes
Yeah.
through your mind, and I say that okay, this is the content you need to bring in, or this is the person you need to talk to,
Uh-huh.
like that. So it's very, very random, but it's also very specific in terms of what visions I get. So it's, yeah. So most of the clients that I've worked with till date are all who know that I'm a psychic, so they are okay. But some people are like, when I used to do tarot readings, they were like, "What? This cannot be." So yeah,
Right.
there are different levels of understanding and awareness that really makes a.
Yeah. And when you say you get them as in the form of a metaphor, can you give an example of that? And not, of course, not a specific personal, but just anything, because I'm curious what that looks
Yeah,
like.
a few months ago, I saw my friend in a very, very bad accident. So I freaked out and I just called her the
Yeah.
morning. I was like, I saw this, please don't panic. And
Right.
she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, but I'm not traveling anyway. And I'm like, okay, that's good that you're not traveling.
Stay in a
And
bubble.
yeah. And the next day, she fell in her bathroom.
Gosh.
It was just a slip. Fortunately, nothing
Yeah.
happened. But she did call me in the evening saying that she had a slip and she fell in the bathroom. And yeah, that's something which
Yeah.
was. So it's not exactly a metaphor, but something not as specific as it should be. And,
Right.
but yeah.
And do
So,
you find this ability to be helpful when it comes to helping the clients that you serve with what outcomes they're looking for?
yeah. So sometimes I do get uh, where it's very, very weird. I do also see real hooks that you should use these hooks. I don't know where it comes from, but
Oh,
it
okay.
just,
Oh, real
just,
hooks. So like the
yeah.
marketing
So it's
sort of.
very, very
Yeah.
random. Yeah, it's very, very
Yeah.
random. But I also see sometimes, like for example, if someone has to switch to a certain price, so I see figures as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Sometimes I see visions in terms of their pet is communicating with them with something, and I see this vision of a pet communicating to them.
Yeah.
So this is a metaphor in terms of when we talk about a metaphor, of course, but it's something which is not expected from a pet, but it comes out at something else in the way they should run a business. So it's very, very, you know, not at all
Yeah.
connected at all sometimes, but you get to understand that, okay, this was this indication.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes it's not clear in the moment, but you figure out what it is. And I think it's amazing because I strongly believe when you step into your purpose, you're supported by your guides, by the divine, whatever it is that you believe in, you're strongly supported and you see we'll call it success. And it's not overnight success because we have things to learn along the road, right? Where it's not just like, hey, I'm going to start doing this and all of a sudden it's going to be this crazy successful thing. But for you, it has been rather quick, right? I would like to say. So can you touch on what your story is like? Because I think to me, it's important that everyone steps into their purpose because I was always told that you had to follow a certain path, and it's led me to
Exactly.
a wall, even with my corporate job, as you know, where it's depressing and not because there's anything wrong with the job, but it's so misaligned and so not what my soul needs. And it trickles into every aspect of my life. And so I think for me, my soul contract was definitely learning how to let go of the comfortable. I did that with my marriage, and I'm doing that now with the soul-led business, and here I am talking to you. But if you could touch on that, that would be great too, because I know that you've experienced something similar when it comes to purpose and stepping into it and helping others.
Yeah. So, well, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, but my entire family is into jobs. None of them has ever had a business.
So
And
you're the first trailblazer.
yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
first one. And also, since childhood, so everyone in my family is super, did super well academically. And
Mm.
I was completely the opposite. So it was a
Mm-hmm.
shocker for them
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
I could not do things. But I was, I really now understand that I was intuitive since I was a kid. So it's not that it just came out one day that, oh, I
Right.
to do an psychic. No, you have these abilities, you just don't realize that they are there. And I had my, like, I am a hardcore true blue Pisces. I have a moon in Pisces, so I have like literally visions since childhood, but they have been so random and so, not placed in such a manner that I never understood that this could be something like that. So everything was like, there was a certain unset pressure of doing well academically because everyone in the family did. And I also
Yeah.
tried to follow that path for almost 30 years because that's what you are supposed to do.
Right.
Because that's what you are told that you are supposed to do, that you are supposed to do good academically, you're supposed to get a good job with a good package. So you are also, super highly focused into academics and, getting a good job, getting good grades. In fact, my father did his PhD, which he could not complete. So I thought that I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you're a child and when you're thinking about all these things your father has achieved, and you think that, oh, I want to be like him. So
Right.
even I decided that I want to do a PhD and I did it. But
Yeah.
even after doing so much, even after studying so much, I realized that having all this knowledge doesn't make any sense until and unless I do something for the society. I don't
Yeah.
know where it came from. It was just inculcated in me because a lot of aspects, like my grandfather was a social worker. I mean, he was a lawyer and he used to help people. I've seen people take help from him like for years, and you just
Yeah.
believe that you are here to help the community.
Right.
It was just not what, I mean, the help was just different from what they were thinking that I should be doing rather than, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it was so ingrained in myself that I need to do good career wise that I never looked into things what I actually wanted to do. So after doing
Yeah.
my PhD, I worked as an academic. I was a faculty for 10 years. I worked in corporate as well. I still do. But this is something I mean, working in corporate, I do enjoy. But being a faculty slowly and gradually, although I was enjoying, teaching, but somewhere I could feel it to my core that this is not something I'm supposed to do. And like I said, when COVID hit, I could really find time to, grab things, absorb what I want to do. I went into meditation, I went into hypnosis as well. And I got to know that this is what I want to do. I love it. This is what,
Yeah.
like, helping people was something which was so ingrained that I wanted to everything to help people. And somewhere, because you have been through so much, this easily automatically comes into your conscious that, okay, if I have been through, nobody else should.
Right.
So, so even though someone is going through something, I would leave everything aside and go and help him or her just because I wanted to be a savior.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's when I started believing that my sole purpose is going to support people who need help. And although that was a very, very different aspect from what I'm doing today, but I still believe that I would like to bringing a lot of people, specifically women who have been through so much, unfortunately, and help them sail through
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
every aspect of their lives.
I love that. And I want to end with a big question because I know that we both believe in alchemy. And I've sat and talked about my story so everyone who listens knows how I've chosen to alchemize. But what does alchemization mean to you specifically?
Frankly, for me, alchemization is visualizing your reality in a way where, like they say, your plan is going to be different from God's plan. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I really believe that alchemy is something which the universe has, is you putting in your mind as a download, and we just have to realize, okay, here we are, and this is going to be our reality. Just accept what the universe is going to present to you, because it's going to be the best.
Yeah. Turning it into power. Yeah. Well, thank you so much again for taking the time to speak with me. I will include your information in the show notes so that everyone knows where to find you. And I continue to say, as you step into your purpose, you start to meet people that you feel like you were destined to meet all the time. And I feel like that even with our paths aligning and crossing, and it's been amazing. So I always want to encourage everybody to step into what they're meant for, because that's what happens, right? You slowly, as you make the steps, you start to meet people and you're like, oh, I was definitely meant to meet these people. And the relationships that you form, no matter how, like, I know you and I don't speak often, but it doesn't matter. It's still the quality of the relationships that you form with the people that you form are just unmatched. And if anything, everything that I've gone through is worth it for that reason, because how much better is it to, at least for me, to not be spending my time hanging out with men that are making me chase them versus actually stepping into my purpose, meeting people who are doing the same. It is exponentially better.
Of course,
So,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you again. I'm super happy that
Thank you so much. It
our
was so
souls have
much
crossed
fun.
paths in this lifetime. And yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
All right.
I'm so
Thank you
grateful
everyone
that
for listening. What's that?
I'm so grateful to that you gave me this opportunity. I'm truly, truly humbled. Thank you so much. And you're incredible, whatever you're doing. I love everything that you do. And yeah.
Thank you so much. And then thank you everyone for listening. I will see you guys next week.